This episode is sponsored by Go Fuck Yourself legislation, the official legislation of America. Go fuck yourself. Welcome to Right is Wrong with Brian and Tom. Here are Brian and Tom. I'm not sure which is which since I'm a robot. Enjoy.
Fascism in progress.
Fascism. I hope it goes away soon.
Fascism? No, that's here to stay, man.
No, I mean, today we're taping this on a Tuesday. I think by Friday everything will be settled. And also, even if it's not, when you think about it, at the end of 2025, there's no more Project 2025. So
Right.
January 1st, 2026, everything goes back to the way it was with Biden.
But I heard it might roll over into like when you subscribe to a piece of software and then it like automatically re-ups.
Oh, that would be
I think
bad.
that might be happening with Project 20. I think it might just automatically re-up.
Well, can't we opt out of Project 2026?
You have to call them at their customer service number.
Oh, wow, that's a hassle.
It's a hassle. So we'll just keep it.
Okay. I'm sure it'll be fine. Everything will be fine.
Yeah, no, I like your optimism. It's contagious.
Just like the measles. I really feel like with this administration that I'm in a throuple with misery and hate. Because I really do. Those are my only two emotions now.
It's you, your wife, and misery and hate.
No, it's just me with misery and hate. Because if it was with my wife, then that'd be a
quadruple.
Yeah, quadruple. Yes.
So we got to talk about how this is our second episode of Right is Wrong.
There are a lot of political podcasts, and people have been asking us, how is this show different?
Have you gotten that? You've gotten that question directly from someone?
I've gotten that question directly from someone, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and actually somebody also spray painted it on my garage, which I thought was bullshit.
Well, I mean, when someone does that, it deserves an answer. I think people are crying out for the answer to the question how this podcast is different, because the marketplace is saturated, but we like to come at it from a slightly different angle. So yes, Brian, tell us how Right is Wrong differs from other political podcasts.
I'm 9% giraffe. Also, all of my dreams have subtitles.
Well, I think what makes us a little unique is that the idea for Right is Wrong came from a birthmark that I have that says left is right.
Yes, I remember that.
Remember that birthmark I have that says left is right?
Sure did. It's my screensaver.
You and I are also the only two people on Earth who have ever had COVID-18, which makes us very unique.
We got the COVID-18, and we wanted to get the COVID-18 came out a little early, and people didn't want to spring for it.
Early adopter. I was going to say, but for real, like there are a lot of political podcasts, but we are trying to do things a little differently. So we take things very seriously, but kind of in an unserious way. I mean, there's serious parts, but we're somewhat unserious in our presentation during the podcast. So we figured since our government is now run entirely by unserious people, they deserve to be eviscerated in the most unserious way possible. And that's what we're here for.
And also our sidekick is a robot. We have a robot sidekick who actually voted for Jill Stein twice, which is weird, because robots aren't even supposed to vote. So that was a weird thing.
I know, but as they've been telling us, these elections are rigged.
Yes, everything's rigged. They project so much that if you come back and say that they rigged things, then it's too late because they've already exhausted you, and then it looks like we're the bad guys making up lies.
The projection from this administration and from the people involved is like that'll be studied in the future when there'll be like a college course in projection and how to master projection. I mean, literally everything that is said is a projection of something that they're doing.
Yep.
It's incredible.
I mean, Trump has ruined the country. He's ruined colors. I mean, he's ruined the colors gold, orange, and red. He's ruined really. I mean, he's ruined the thumbs up expression. I can't even watch an episode of Happy Days anymore. That stupid fucking thumbs up. Shut the fuck up.
Did you hear that Netanyahu yesterday directly delivered a Nobel Peace Prize nomination to Trump?
Of course he
did. That's like, that would be like McDonald's nominating me for the healthy food. It's like, there's no human being with more war on his record, on his resume than Netanyahu. I mean, it's like he's at war with several countries, and Trump just bombed a country. And these two are talking about the Nobel Peace Prize. That is literally the most laughable things that I've ever heard. I mean, to imagine those two people, kissing each other's ass about who's more of a peacemaker.
Netanyahu is a circumcised Trump. He's a monster. Honestly, he's a monster. And for some reason, and the reason why Trump wants a Nobel Peace Prize is because Obama got one, and he has to do everything that Obama did.
Well, that's why his makeup is getting darker and darker. Did you see him he had a press conference today, a cabinet meeting? And
yes,
all I know
Bondi.
is that if my grandmother was putting makeup on like that, I would take her keys away. Like he's at the point where the makeup is so laughably bad. Like there's literally a line between orange and white it's moving further and further in on his face every time I see him. It
looks like when you bite into a creamsicle.
Exactly.
It really does. And that just shows you the degree of ass kissers, because if that were anybody and I saw that, I'd be like, hey, dude, you gotta fix your makeup.
Yeah, something's wrong. Something's off. Something's a little off, dude, bro.
Yeah.
Bro. Yeah. Did you check your makeup today? I mean, nobody will tell him how, and he's on camera in front of the nation. It's not even like a local newscast where you look at like the Toledo news, channel 32 at 10. You're like, ooh, that's a bad makeup. I mean, he's nationwide being broadcast, and he looks. I don't know, man. It's like I don't think that we're living in a reality where there's very little I can make sense of anymore. It's very hard to look at the news and make sense of any of it.
I am just hoping that some other countries, especially after all the tariff bullshit, step up and start throwing sanctions at us, because we have our human rights are going out, and they would be. My prediction is we will not have the World Cup in 2026 in America, and we will not have the Olympics in 2028 in America. I think so many countries will boycott, or they will just decide to move it. And we can either go or not go. And World Cup especially, there's plenty of soccer stadiums, and plenty of other countries have already hosted the Olympics.
Like they're just not going to want to come because of the embarrassment.
But also you might not get out. You might not get your people out.
Right.
I mean, people could be playing soccer and get arrested as soon as they,
Well, I heard that the referees are going to be ICE in disguise, and they're just in the middle of the match. They're just going to like handcuff a player and fly him to El Salvador directly from LA.
Yeah, but the thing about handcuffing a player is you don't really need your hands in soccer. So they might play the whole game with zip ties.
Zip tie their feet. No.
It's just beyond. I really need other countries to kind of step up, and other countries, if you're listening to this,
they are. No, we had most of our downloads were from not from people, but from countries.
Yes.
Like I looked at the downloads and I saw that New Zealand downloaded our podcast from last week. So
wow. And the Netherlands, we're the number one podcast in the Netherlands with people hosting named Tom and Brian. So that's a big accomplishment.
Not Tomas.
Yes.
But Tom. Yeah.
No, very happy about that.
On the next episode of Thugville.
Ow, why are you manhandling me?
Because I'm a man, and you don't belong here.
But this is my house, and I've lived here since 1978.
You jaywalked in 1993. You're a dangerous lawbreaker.
You stormed the Capitol on January 6th.
I sure did. Because I'm a patriot. Now I'll give you a second to close out your checking account and unplug your AC unit before I zip tie you.
You're a fucking dick and your parents did a shitty job.
So this week, as everybody knows, we had those horrible floods in Texas, and it's horrible to have to politicize something that happens to people. But I was watching the coverage, and they were talking to a guy who I guess rescued a woman from a tree. They were hailing him as a hero. He went out and the woman was clinging to a tree and he rescued her, and they were interviewing him, and he was wearing a black MAGA hat, and it was just black. It just said MAGA in black. And I was wondering,
I would just be like, let me die. Don't touch me, MAGA. Really?
But it made me think, like, the disconnect between the people who are seeing their communities ravaged by not only, which is what is clearly a climate change induced. I mean, it doesn't rain 4 months worth of rain in 4 hours. Anyway, this guy who is like rescuing one of his neighbors from a tree and still supporting an administration which denies climate change even exists. In fact, they've defunded NOAA and
because it helps the oil and gas industry.
Well, they've defunded it largely because they think that the quote unquote research that NOAA is doing is by zealots, by climate change zealots who are somehow hell bent on proving climate change, as if weather research, is like weather research should be the least political thing. One of the least political things that we do. I mean, we're researching weather to help people be able to predict and understand climate. And they defunded it because they're afraid that somehow climate change people have co-opted NOAA, which it's all part of what they do. I mean, that's what they study. They study the climate and how it's changing and what weather patterns. I mean, these are just scientists. And it just made me realize that we're living in some sort of dystopian world where you can have a hat that basically supports policies which increase the likelihood that you'll have to rescue more people out of trees in the future.
Well, yeah, and at least Governor Abbott has is on his way to solving the problem. I think he said that prayers prevented more carnage, and
they? Okay.
Yes, and he actually, there's a quote: "Prayer does work," and I'm like, prayer does work. Then how come you can't walk, dude? Seriously.
Well, you don't know. Hold on, though. You don't know that he's ever prayed to be able to walk again.
That's true.
You don't know that he may be praying for a whole bunch of, maybe he doesn't want to walk anymore, and he's leaving that out of his nightly prayers.
Maybe he's just lazy and he likes.
And if he had only prayed a week ago, if he had said, "I hope that there's not a horrible rainstorm that washes away communities," and if he had only prayed that, it might not have happened. His prayer came afterward. That's the problem.
Yeah, see, God needs things.
He needs a little heads
very
up.
Specific.
He needs a little heads up.
Really specific.
Mike Johnson also said there's nothing that we can do but pray.
Yeah.
Even though he could potentially, I don't know, call an investigation into what happened and figure out how we can prevent things from like this from happening again, or hold a congressional investigation into, the response and the warnings that did or didn't happen, and a lot of things that oversight that Congress is actually elected to do. But no, prayer is fine. Prayer will do the job. Also, it's okay if you want to pray, right? I mean, that's your right, your First Amendment right. It's also your right as a person of faith. If I believe in something and I want to pray, but fucking do something else along with it. Like, I could pray that, my basement's not going to flood. And if my basement floods, I'm going to get a fucking guy to seal up the leaks so it doesn't happen again. I'm going to fix the problem. I'm not just going to pray it away. So pray and then also do something.
I just don't understand the whole concept behind prayer. I mean, maybe I'm more cynical than you. So like,
no, I'm as cynical as you. I just don't want anybody who's listening to this podcast to be like, I mean, look, I'm not overtly anti-prayer as a huge, like if that's what comforts you and it helps you feel better about something that happened, then that's great, because you need that kind of psychological solace. But if you think that that's the way of solving real problems that actually hurt and kill people, then that's when it's gone from like solace for you into actual harm for other people.
Yes, and that's the whole point is harm to other people. I can't wait till he's gone, and I hope I outlive him, and the whole planet will have an orgasm when he's gone.
It'll just feel it automatically. It'll just happen.
Yes.
It'll be like, oh, what was that feeling? Yeah. Like I was ready when on election night, I was ready to step out of my house and scream, like fucking yes, when I thought Kamala might win, and then I never got it. I never got my chance.
Yeah, I screamed as well. I screamed into a paper bag.
Exactly.
And I was gonna, just open it up and hear my scream from 2016 for Hillary.
So there's that with the flood and just how, I mean, how disheartening it is to have people like Ted Cruz, for example, elected officials who just are derelict in the time. I mean, the local officials are doing everything they can, but the people that get all the, the people that get all the time on air are these national politicians who don't do shit and couldn't care less.
And meanwhile, people are still getting disappeared left and right. And did you hear about the El Salvadorian head shithead, Bukele? I don't even care if that's how to pronounce.
You mean the president of El Salvador?
Yes.
Yeah, I spend as little time thinking about him as possible, but yeah, I know who you're talking about. Like, he is clearly not only just this whole situation has made him shittier, but El Salvador is one of the least safe, most corrupt countries in Central America. And so before any of this happened, I already hated the guy.
Now, Bukele has denied that Kilmar Abrego Garcia was tortured in prison. And you know how he did this? He released a video of Kilmar Abrego Garcia playing chess and soccer and doing some gardening.
Oh yeah, well that proves it.
Yeah, I agree. He wasn't tortured in the video you edited, but
it's like I've done gardening, and that means nothing bad's ever happened to me. Like I was out gardening yesterday, so that therefore ergo, that means that nothing bad happened to me in the times I wasn't gardening.
Exactly. I mean, it's like look at this.
That's logical. That just makes sense.
Yeah, it's like look at this other film that Zapruder made of Lee Harvey Oswald making a grilled cheese sandwich and then washing his car. He's innocent.
Like when I saw the video that they released of Epstein, they released a video of Epstein walking through the hall, a CCTV video of him walking with guards in the prison, thus proving that he killed himself. Like a different time when he was just walking through. That's what the Justice Department released yesterday. See, this proves that he killed himself and he wasn't murdered, and there were no Epstein files, and there was no client list, because we have this video of him being escorted by guards for 8 seconds down the hallway. It's like the idea that, things actually have cause and effect, and there's things in life called proving something based on actual evidence, but just showing me a video of him walking down the hall literally has no bearing on the other things.
I'm surprised that they just don't say that Jeffrey Epstein can't be dead, but because here's footage of him fucking a teenager. See, he's still alive.
Well, Bondi, I mean, the fact that we can just let the Attorney General of the United States say 4 months ago, I have the Epstein files on my desk.
Yes, in February.
And then a few months later go, there are no Epstein files. And we're just like, oh, okay, cool. I mean, it would be like saying, I'm recording this podcast on my computer. And then half an hour later, I don't have a computer. I mean, it's like, and you'd be like, what are you even talking about? And you'd say you need to check your mental condition. But people are just like, well, all right, I guess I'll just take I'm not, but the Trump apologists will say, well, because they asked Trump today about the Epstein thing, and he was like,
there's a missing minute apparently
of
Epstein's footage from prison. There's a missing minute.
Okay.
And then Pam Bondi is now saying that there's a missing minute on everything from the prison because It was just some ridiculous excuse, like they have
It was
to
a
reset
glitch.
the reset the cameras, so there's a minute missing from every single cell and every single camera in that prison.
The most laughable thing, though, is when Trump said today, when they asked him about the Epstein, he said, "I can't believe you're asking me about that with all the great successes that we and all the terrible things too, like the floods. You know, he's like all the successes, and all the terrible things, like the floods in Texas. And I can't believe you're desecrating the presidency by asking about this. Like, are you kidding me? Desecrating the presidency? That's like, again, like we were saying earlier, like the most transparent ultimate projection. You're desecrating by asking me a question when I spend almost all of my time desecrating the presidency. I mean, that's what I spend. That's like his area of expertise is desecrating the presidency.
It sure is. That's the only thing he does is tear down things.
Desecrate,
And during the whole Texas thing, he's playing golf. Trump didn't even bother to pretend that he cared. I mean, he didn't even go and throw paper towels.
Yeah.
They say his wealth has gone up $2.9 billion since, I don't even want to say since he was elected, because I don't believe he was. $2.9 billion since Inauguration Day.
So I'm just trying to understand the long game. I mean, is it to just when he's done with the presidency to just have billions of dollars? And I mean, like, what is the, I don't understand these people who have $1 billion and just continue to try to sop up more from the stupid rabble that buy their crap. Because it seems like he's been playing this long game for a while, but I just don't understand what the end game is here for him.
I think the end game for him is just to die with as much money as possible and to stroke his ego and to move up. So he wants to be as rich as possible because has this huge inferiority complex. I think it's as simple as that.
Yeah, like money keeps coming in, and so that's the only value that he gets out of life.
Yep, it's not accomplishment; it's money.
Right.
I think the worst thing to happen to America, period, in the big beautiful bill, whatever it's called, was the crazy amount of money going for ICE.
Yeah,
I mean, it's more money than than Russia pays for their entire military.
Yeah,
and meanwhile, these guys are parading around in a park in LA with little kids, you know, in the middle of the day, instead of, how about you go to Texas and help with the fucking flood victims?
So my question is, will the MAGA folks who voted for Trump and think that he's untouchable and everything he does is great, will they change their mind when there's no money for anything that they need, and when they realize that all this money was squandered on ICE, which, by the way, is deporting fewer people than Obama did. So they're not even doing what they were supposed to be, or when I say supposed to, they're not doing what they're set out to do, or that they're being encouraged to do. They're fucking up the thing they're supposed to be doing with way, way, way more money than they've ever had.
Right. And to answer your question, I don't think that these people will ever learn that they will figure out that something bad is happening to them, but they will blame Biden.
It's Biden's fault that the flood rescue was delayed. Like, he literally said Biden's system was in place.
Yeah. It's just,
it was like, what does that even mean? The system of what?
It's lie after lie. Yeah. And until people challenge him, I think the other day, Trump said that, you know, and our terrific seniors will pay no tax on their Social Security because of the bill. And that's a complete fucking lie. Now, if I was a senior citizen getting Social Security checks, I would just stop paying tax on it. I'm like, if you audit me, I'm like, nope, he said it on TV. Here it is. He said it on TV.
I think that all of us should stop paying the federal government, but that's a whole different story. I mean, there's only one form of protest. Remember the Boston Tea Party? I mean, there's only one form of protest that speaks, and that's money. And if California, for example, just stopped paying federal taxes, that would just fuck them.
California may be forced to do that because, I mean, they're withholding, you know, $6 or $7 billion for after school programs. And, you know, obviously California fires started before Trump took office, but he's not going to help California at all. And meanwhile, he's dismantling FEMA, but it's not dismantled yet. And his buddy Greg Abbott's going to get some FEMA help. So It all depends what color it
Yep.
depends what color your state is and what color your skin is.
And what color
That's how
your
you get
hat,
help.
what color your hat is.
Yep.
Although it can be black. The MAGA hats can be black now, apparently. So that's another color they've
That's another color. They've ruined 4 colors
Yeah.
then.
Now it's time to play the #1 show on the GOP television network. Pin the blame on the donkeys.
Welcome to Pin the Blame on the Donkeys. I'm going to call out a topic, Tom,
Okay.
and you are going to tell me whose fault it is.
Gotcha.
The shitty economy caused by the tariffs. Pin the blame on the donkeys.
Joe Biden.
It's correct.
Yeah.
It's Joe Biden's fault. It's Joe Biden's economy. As J.D. Vance just said yesterday, this is still Biden's economy.
It'll be Biden's economy until 2028.
Oh, yeah. Even beyond that. I'm surprised they're not saying this is Bill Clinton's economy.
All right.
Pin the blame on the donkeys. The Texas flood, which we were just talking about.
Oh, that's the system Biden put in place.
That's correct. That's Biden's fault too. Okay, moving on. Number 3, taking food out of the mouths of school children and starving populations worldwide in order to help billionaires edge towards trillionaires. Pin the blame on the donkeys.
That's got to be Gavin Newsom's fault.
It sure is. And you pronounced his name correctly also. Yep.
Yep. It's pronounced Newsom. Yep.
Yes. Overcrowded detention centers.
I think that's Pelosi's fault.
Absolutely correct.
Yes.
It's Pelosi's fault, just like she didn't call in the National Guard during January 6th.
That's right. She planned January 6th. She's actually planning another January 6th. Right? That's what we haven't heard from her. She's busily putting together the next insurrection because she has a network of people with Trump flags and Trump clothes, and they're all just working for her.
When her alarm clock goes off in the morning, it plays the Beastie Boys Sabotage. That's all she thinks about all day is sabotage.
Exactly.
Number 5, the Minnesota politicians killed.
Oh, that's Tim Walz's fault.
Correct.
Yeah,
because he was
from
stirring
Minnesota.
the pot.
Yeah,
he's
from Minnesota.
And he called people weird like a year ago.
Yep.
That's crossing the line, man.
No, he went way too far.
People weird.
He went way too far. You don't call MAGA people weird. They're patriots. You're the one who's weird.
Exactly. And finally, measles outbreaks. Nearly 1,300 people now have the disease we've had a vaccine for decades.
Fucking Fauci.
That's correct. Wow, you ran the board.
Oh,
and
man,
let's see what you win.
A Libtard Dems shirt.
No. And Libtard Dems it's an oxymoron.
The name of my favorite band, Libtard Dems.
Libtard Dems. All right. See us next week.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Right is Wrong with Brian and Tom. Please follow us on social media and anti-social media. But please don't follow us while we're running errands. We're paranoid enough as it is. See you next time, human beings.